Hey, moms, wonderful mompreneurs, and mom bosses. Welcome to another episode of the Life Unboxed blog show, where we talk about all things mompreneur, from raising your kids to running a business, and the most important, keeping your sanity. I am Jodie the mom from lifeunboxed.blog. If you're enjoying this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. If you're listening to the podcast, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, share the podcast with your friends, and leave a 5-star review wherever you are listening. I truly appreciate your support. Remember, I would love to hear your questions that you just can't seem to get answered, so send them my way. Okay, so we are going to talk about how to create a website in 5 painless steps. So, are you ready to create a website for your business? Is it time to launch your great idea out into the world? But how to create a website when you don't know where to start? Creating a website for your business is a daunting task, and there are so many false promises of launching one in 5 days. If you have never created a website on your own, then don't believe the don't believe the lies when they say you can do it in 5 days. You really can't. And so I'm not going to give you these I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver for you. What I am going to do is to give you 5 painless steps to get you started. So if you've been reading this blog for any time now, you know I always encourage you amazing mompreneurs to create a website for your business. And I make sure you have the tools you need so you can create a website. And I do have a playlist, and I will be sure to link that in the description below. So the playlist is creating a website for beginners. So if that's where you're at, be sure to check out the playlist. So I'm not going to promise that you will build it in 5 days, but I promise to make the process as painless as possible. First, let's talk about the emotional process when you are creating a website. Just like starting a business involves emotional stages, and yes, I will leave a link for that video in the description below. There is also a lot involved in creating an amazing website for your business too. And sometimes it can be very discouraging when you can't translate the ideas in your head to the web page. And I won't even get started on the frustration when it comes to mobile optimization. But if you can't afford to hire someone to create it for you, then you are it. And you can do it, Mom. Just know that it can be an emotional process, but I'm going to help you through these emotions to make it as painless as possible. You really can't avoid creating a website. If you're going to start a business, you need to create an amazing website. There is a wide gap between your great idea and communicating it to the world. A great website bridges this gap. You can build a business website without being a web programmer. And I have 2 more videos or posts to check out as well on these topics. So be sure to check out the description below. So the description is really going to be rich with resources for you. So definitely take a look and click through to see what is going to be a help for you. At this point, I want you to feel ready to start the process. If the voice inside your head is still telling you that you can't do it, banish it from your mind and let's dive into how to create a website in 5 painless steps. There are a few things that you should do before you start creating your website to make it easier. And like I said, this video is going to be rich with resources for you. So be sure to check out the link below for the other video on what to do before you start creating a website to make it easier. But let's get started on how to create a website. The first thing you need is domain and hosting. So this is the first thing you need to have in place. You can't create a website if it doesn't have a place to live. So if you're new to this, the domain is the address and your hosting is the house. So your domain is the address that gets you to the house. My strongest recommendation is not to go free. There are many reasons, but the biggest one is you don't own it. The domain is not yours. There are certain restrictions with the hosting company and even certain affiliates that you can't join if you don't own your own domain. So buy your domain and get your hosting. It is worth it. Another recommendation is to purchase your domain with your hosting to keep things simple. So I know this is actually controversial, so I will just tell you why people suggest doing the opposite. They say that if the hosting company goes bust, then you will still have your domain. Frankly, I've been doing this for 7 years now and have never encountered an issue with my domain being with my hosting or any client websites either. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying I haven't personally encountered this issue. The best rule of thumb is to work with a reputable company, and there are plenty out there. Here are my 2 recommendations for hosting and domains. Go with Bluehost or SiteGround. So Bluehost is going to be the cheaper option of the 2. SiteGround is going to have your faster servers. So just depending on, usually at this stage of the game, cheaper is better. So I've used Bluehost for both of my websites, client websites, and I haven't had an issue with it. Are the servers slower? Yes, they are. But I still haven't had an issue. At some point, when I can afford faster servers, then I will probably upgrade to something like SiteGround. But for now, I'm fine with Bluehost. So go ahead, and I have another video that gives a more in-depth review on hosting providers. And again, that is in what to do before you start creating your website to make it easier. Link in the description below. Step 2 in your Painless process is to create an outline. I know. Who wants to go back to school? But creating an outline really helps to think through what you actually want on your website. Are you asking, but what if I don't know what I want? Then go to what to do before you start creating a website to make it easier and follow the steps. So it really is a step-by-step guide on all these things that you need to do before you start creating a website. So if you're new, you don't know where to start, hop on over to that video and start there. So the outline can be very, very simple. So don't get overwhelmed with this step in the process of creating your website. So if you click on the show notes in the description below, it'll take you to my website and you'll see a sample outline that I created for my virtual assistant website. An outline will really help get you started generating ideas, and it will help you to understand the structure of your website and the pages you need. So it will also be central for the next step. So number 3, write content. It is time to put your amazing idea into words. And if this causes panic, take a deep breath. You got this. If you feel like you can't write or it's not a strength, I understand. Here are a few tools to help you clarify your ideas so you can create ridiculously good content. Right, the first resource for you is How to Become a Better Writer, 3 Ways to Improve Your Writing, link below. The second resource is Everybody Writes by Handley. And this is a very good and practical book on writing. The next resource is from Joanna Penn. So she focuses on self-publishing, but momtrepreneurs and self-publishers are not that far apart on the business spectrum. So there is so much that I have gained from reading her books, from marketing to recording and podcasting to writing. So if you need even help just overall with your business, you will gain a lot from these very practical books. The next is Building a StoryBrand by Donald Miller. This is one book I always recommend, and it's in my top 8 business books as well. It really helped define my message and to write it down. The next one is another Donald Miller book, and that is Marketing Made Simple. So this is a great book for knowing how to communicate your message. So another one I highly recommend. So if you're still feeling overwhelmed, then maybe try working with a freelance writer or an editor, and you can find a whole bunch over at Fiverr. You don't have to commit to just one. If you want, you can hire a few and give them a test piece to write or a test piece to edit. And you may still write your own content, but this will at least take the pressure off. You can also hire an editor to help you clean up your writing and get some feedback. So number 4 on your Painless journey is to install theme and plugins. If you know how to code, then you don't need this step. But since you are listening to this podcast and video, I am assuming that you don't know how to code. If this is the case, the best thing to do is to install a theme on your WordPress site. I always recommend the Divi theme by Elegant Themes. The theme comes with a module for every occasion, so there's a lot to choose from right out of the box. You will still need to install plugins for your website, and I have my 5 must-have plugins for WordPress, so I'll leave that link below. If you're using the Divi theme, it will only be a few plugins needed. So once you purchase the theme, watch this video on how to install the theme and plugins, and I will leave that link in the description below for you. And number 5, how to create a website painlessly, install a pre-made layout. Now, this is truly the most painless step. You can install a pre-made layout with Divi, and at this point, I believe they have over 100 layout packs and over 800 pre-made layouts to choose from. And this number keeps growing. So these layouts come with pages already optimized for mobile, and yes, this is a big deal. You can mix and match the pages too, so you don't have to, if you see a website that you like, you don't have to take the whole package. You can take, oh, well, I like this homepage, I like an about page from over here, I like this contact. So you can mix and match the pages, and you can change the images, colors, fonts to match your brand. All the layouts are fully customizable, so they are a great way to get started, and honestly, a very painless way to get started. You now know how to create a website, so get started. Pick one step that you're going to do right now, even if it is to watch the video. Can't watch the post. Watch the video on what to do before you get started, or create an outline, or watch my full playlist on how to create a website for beginners. You just need to start somewhere. So pick one of these and get started. So I'm also starting to noodle around with ideas on creating a playlist of Divi tips. So if you run into questions, let me know what they are, and I will be happy to help you out. I am so glad you joined me today. If you want to help spread the word, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. You can listen to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and wherever you listen to podcasts. Remember to check out the Life Unboxed store for all of your Mom Boss merch. For more great momtrepreneur content, follow Life Unboxed on social media or check out lifeunboxed.blog. Be sure to share the podcast and video with your friends. And I will see you in the next video.